Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Podcast. I'm Ben, that's Josh, and we are alive and well. Yes, you heard it here first. No, you didn't. You've heard it 1,000 times at this point. This is, by the way, Josh, I don't know if you know this. This is episode 249, which means in the year of 250 anniversary of America, we're going to have 250th episode next week, which is kind of crazy to me that we've done 250 of these. I think Josh has been a part of like 240 or 235, so it's kind of wild to think about. But we'll talk more about that next week. But Josh, how are you doing? I know there's some storms. I would love to see a storm. You don't know how much I would love to see like a rainstorm right now, Josh. It has not rained here in about 6 weeks. It is still hotter than molasses. Hopefully, it's getting cooler. Please, before school starts. I don't need that. But no, it's kind of dry here. It's kind of crazy. Obviously, at the end of the summer, and school's getting ready to start, and football, national team stuff's getting ready to start. So everything's kind of crazy. But Josh, how's it going over there? You survived the tornadoes and the rain. It looks like so. You're alive and well.
Yeah, a few hours south from me is where like some of those tornadoes and like
I
the
mean, heck,
really
a
heavy
car
storms
flipped
came.
in the mid drive
Yeah.
in
I
Columbus.
saw a video of a tree branch on fire on top of a electric line too, but or telephone line. But yeah, up here we've had some heavy rain. We had some pretty bad storms that led to some flooded roads, but nothing as far as like tornado goes. So we
You're
are
alive
still
and well.
getting. Yeah, alive and well up here. It's been low 80s as far as temperature
This would be
goes, and
nice.
yeah, in the factory it feels way hotter. But when you hear about how Ben's that he's been dealing with is, it's like okay, I guess it's not so bad right now. The fact that we're in August and we've really only had like one week where we were
That's
having
what I'm
consistent
worried about,
90
man.
degree days.
I'm
Like
worried it's gonna be like I'm worried it's gonna be like October and it's gonna be hot here and I'm just gonna
it's
be
been a
hating it.
relatively cool summer over here
Yeah, you've been
compared to the
blessed.
past.
You've been
Yeah,
blessed.
yeah. So that's how things are going over here. We do have not this Friday, so I think this will come out this weekend, but the weekend
Yeah.
after is when high school football season
Yeah, I
starts.
know. It's
I
it's
was
crazy to me because it's weird here because obviously we have junior year, like junior U19 season, which is they play on the weekends, but it's the closest thing I get to high school American football. But I still tell people there is nothing like going on a Friday night to a game that honestly at this point I will have no relation or no acknowledgement of whoever's at my high school. I'll have no idea who any of these kids are, but I'll still feel like I'm back in, cheering in high school and just having a great time. I mean, I always say that my mom sent me a picture and I'll see if the camera picks it up because Josh, you'll love this as a high school football aficionado, as some might say, right? I would say they would call you that. Um, Here's a picture of your boy. I don't know if that comes through. Yeah, there it
okay, I
is.
see it.
There, I'm at the top.
Figured.
That was the the ball boys for 2007. I was 11 years old,
Mm.
and my mom sent me that. And I was like, the memories of high school football just came rushing back. And I never played. Obviously, I never played in high school, so for me, that was always. I kind of wish I would have been able to do at least 1 year, but
hmm
yeah, man, I just love high school football, man.
Yeah, dude, third, fourth grade, seeing like the kids my age that were like, the quote unquote water boys. I got to run on the
Dude, it
field
was
and give
awesome.
kids the water bottles. I was like, those guys are the freaking coolest. They have the coolest
That's the
job on the
funny thing is
team.
like I felt like I was like not really loved in school, but I think it was like the one job that I got that was just so much fun. Like I got to wear this old jersey from like the 1990s, and I do remember once our coach literally. So he asked all the ball boys to leave, but for some reason I was in the athletic trainer's room where they were mixing the Gatorade, and he just starts dropping all these f bombs, and he had already left. He already made all of them leave. He thought I was with them, so I just like did not leave. I just stood there. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to
Hmm.
leave. Same halftime. He threw a chair. So I got to witness what true coaching's like at
Yeah.
a young age.
Yeah, that can be how it can be at the high school level. Go ahead and stick on the high school football
Yeah,
discussion here because Ohio State landed a quarterback, Ben, for
they
the
did, man.
2028 class. I think for that class, I mean that they got Jet Harrison.
Three
I
five
think
stars.
they do have three. Yeah, so
Yeah.
go ahead and talk to us about this kid. I can't remember his name right now, but I just seen that they added, that third or fourth 5-star of this
Yeah.
class. They got their quarterback. It's usually the quarterback will come and receivers like Jet Harrison will follow, but this is a one of those rare cases where like you got the receiver to commit and then the
Yep.
quarterback was like, "Oh, I want to throw to that
Yeah,
guy."
Christopher Vargas. He's a kid that is he actually, if you watch him throw, and I encourage you guys to watch
It
him
pops out
throw.
of his hand pretty quick.
Yes, and he throws a lot like CJ Stroud. So he says he models his game after CJ Stroud, which is kind of cool, I think, as an Ohio State fan. But he's about 6'5". He's about 200 pounds. He's only like 16. He hasn't even turned 17 yet, so he's still like fairly young. He's actually the number one player in Massachusetts, which I just think is awesome. Like Ryan Day's just getting into his Northeast roots. But he's definitely going to be. He's kind of like St. Clair in the sense of, St. Clair is he can run. And I think Vargas can be a runner if they really need him to. But Insane's the same way, where it's like I think they're just going to be better passers. I think St. Clair is a very underrated passer. Um, we'll see how he develops. I mean, he's still young and he's still got another couple years left in high school. Um, we'll see if he stays up there at St. John's Prep up there in Massachusetts. Um, I'm curious to see if he doesn't move down to like IMG or something like that. But yeah, he seems like he's a great ball mind. I mean, let's put it this way: High State in 2028 class has 3 5-stars. The rest of the nation combined has 2 signed. So
Yeah.
Ohio State's
Sometimes those guys don't commit right away. So this
no.
is, I mean, they are ahead of schedule for
And I'll
sure.
tell people this. Jet Harrison Jr. just signed a deal with Reebok, I believe,
Was it Reebok or
and
New Balance or
New
something like
Balance, yeah,
that?
New Balance, something like that, with his brother. And here's what I want to say: for all people out there that say, Ohio State, Ryan Day was more on second, third base, and like, but you know what? The one thing you can't say about Ohio State is that they've kept it going. Like, look what happened when Harbaugh left. It kind of fell apart for Michigan, right? You look at some of these other teams where it's just started falling apart. Even Clemson starting to slowly, like Ohio State's kept it at the level. There's only a few teams in the nation that you can say since 2011 have been consistent, and that it would be, I'd say, Georgia later on, but Georgia and Ohio State. Alabama's slowly starting to fall off, but you
Even
can put
those
them in there as
programs
well.
that don't lose the coaches, like you said, like it's hard to stay at the top for a very long time, like as long. Like we've
Yeah,
come to expect Ohio State to just win 10 games every season at this point because they have pretty
and it's
much
bad
ever
if they and
since
it's bad if they go
Urban
ten
Meyer
and
got
three.
hired in.
It's terrible if they go 10-3. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's something else I want to touch on. And I know we didn't talk about doing this, but I know you're going to have a piece of this because we mentioned a little bit last week. So now we have not only Kyle Whittingham, but now you have Bryce Underwood coming out and saying that it's
I was
just another
wondering if you were
game.
going to mention
So
this.
so here's my question to you, Josh. Obviously, you're not a Ohio State fan, but you grew up around the rivalry. Obviously, being from Ohio, like, isn't that in some cases like putting the 44 Magnum bullet into the chamber for Ohio State? I mean, like, if that's what you care about the game, then like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I guess I'm just old school in the sense. I don't know. I grew up, and maybe Ohio State fans just have more passion. I don't know if it is. I don't know what Michigan fans think. I'd be curious to hear what they think because I just think it's kind of ridiculous that you're basically ripping into this over century long rivalry that has so much respect. Bo Schembechler and Rudy Hayes hated each other, but when it came off the field, they respected each other. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on this because I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that even when they asked Whittingham again, he basically said the same thing twice. Like, dude, you didn't get the picture the first time. Like, even I bet you some of your own fans are mad that you're like, dude, we hate Ohio State. It's a rivalry. That's part of it in that sense.
Yeah, the first thing I did when I heard the Underwood quote is I had to do some searching because I thought that he said the year before, like once he committed to Michigan, that it was all over for Ohio State, and I found the clip of him saying that. So it's like, okay, you got this overconfident freshman that's talking about he's gonna be the greatest player that's ever come through Michigan. He's gonna win Heisman's, and it's over for Ohio State. And then he throws 63 yards or whatever it was in that game. They lose,
Doesn't matter now.
and
It's just
now
another game.
this next year, he's like, it's just another game. And this is very unlike Michigan, Ben, because while Michigan's been on this heater from 21, 22, 23, they've been hyping up the rivalry. They've been saying, it's over for Ohio State. I don't know if there was any like little brother comments or anything like that, but they were saying that they run this thing right now. And even after all the guys from that national championship team, and Stallions was fired. And it's like, well, there's no excuses now. We won again. What are you going to say? We cheated again. There's no one, literally no one here left from that, and we beat you at your on your home field, and like we continue to run this rivalry. And then Whittingham comes in here and is like, oh, it's okay, and it's just another game. We want there to be, or not another game, but we want the rivalry to be there, but there's no hate. And then Underwood even goes a little further and says, like, yeah, it's just another game. So what it really looks like, Ben, is that they know
They know
while
what's
they
coming.
were yeah, they know it's coming. They like it really. I'm not saying that there was any cheating one way or another, but what it does look like is when they knew all the it looks like they knew that they were going to win, and so they were really hyping it up, and now they know that that is over, and so now they're trying to downplay and act like it's not a big deal. That's what it looks like if
Well,
you're kind of on
I,
the outside looking in or not a fan of either program. So I'm kind of looking at Michigan like what changed? Like are you like really saying
well,
that
just
this is
imagine.
just another
I
game
mean,
now? Why are you
I
trying
mean,
to
for me,
downplay
it's
it?
like it's like Florida versus like Tennessee or Florida versus Georgia, and they're just like, you know what, it doesn't really matter. Like, no, like Florida State, like there is what makes college football so amazing is that fans are insane. They're absolutely insane. There's no sanity involved. NFL, there's sanity, right? Like you have the Buffalo Bills fans that jump on tables, but they're usually drunk, right? Dude, these people are
Yeah.
even sober college fans are absolutely insane, and I'm one of them, right? Like we have no sense
It's
of
something that
logic.
professional sports just don't really have
They
to the
don't.
degree. I
Even
mean,
with
there's the
even with
Steelers and the
NIL taking
Browns, of
over.
course, and there's the Yankees and the Red
Yeah.
Sox, but it just doesn't hit the same as it used to when we were
No.
kids, and definitely not like how college
Well,
rivalries
think
hit.
about this. Even with NIL, the one thing that's remained is like the hatred for rivalries. Like you imagine Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State or Oklahoma versus Texas, and they're just like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's just another game. I'm sorry, no, you
We
you
have seen
despise it.
some kids transfer from one school to another, and I do hate that.
That
But
annoys me. That
it
bothers
hasn't
me.
become the norm yet, but it
No,
has become a little more common than what I'd like it to see.
like someone asked me once if I ever got a scholarship offer from Michigan if I would go, and I'll be like, no, I don't care if that was my only one. It's just I can't wear that stuff. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Anyways, what is also disgusting
Is the Cincinnati
is
Reds
yes,
and the
it's
Cleveland
it's atrocious.
Indians,
It's
professional baseball in
it
Ohio, period.
look, this is what I'm going to say. If you didn't know, it was just news came out about 3 days ago that Hunter Green is going to undergo a not the same as Tommy John surgery because it's a partially torn UCL, so I think it's like a partial surgery. Basically, he's going to be out 6 months once again. The Reds are without the guy that they're paying, which by the way, I'm guessing this is probably why they didn't trade him at the deadline. Is I'm guessing they knew something was up and it would have got denied
He'd fail a
anyways.
physical, and
But
then the
now,
trade would
but
get
but
declined.
now, if you're a Reds fan, you're stuck with him because I don't think any team's going to be able to risk it after this dude's been going through another injury. I mean, if you're the Reds, and I said this last week, the Reds are playing it for the fact that maybe there's in 2027 there's a lockout, so that's why they're not doing any of these contract extensions. They're just trying to wait to see if they get something. I said this last week. And maybe that's what they're doing with Hunter Green. Like, okay, he misses all next year, but if we don't have season, whatever. My thing is that you could have gotten some from him. I mean, obviously we know you don't know this, but as Reds fans, we know there's a lot of friction between him and the front office. And well, when you have Nick Kroll as your GM, I would have friction with him if I was a janitor. I mean, this dude is an absolute buffoon. I mean, to come out here and say that you have a chance to win, I'm sorry. I don't care if you're 5.5 back. You're a negative 50 run differential. You can't score runs consistently. You won't play your best players. Like I love Terry Francona. I think he's done great for the Reds during his first year, but ever since then, I just feel like we're in this rut, which you warned me about a few years ago. And so I think where I'm at is that the Reds should have traded more. I agree when people said they got an F grade because they should have traded more. They should have got rid of Singer. They should have got rid of Suarez. Like, yeah, Suarez is hitting great now. Of course he is. After the deadline, now he's going to start slugging 50 home runs. So for me, I guess I'm just frustrated with the way they've handled the whole thing, and with the Hunter Green thing, it's like, I mean, he wasn't pitching great anyway since he came back. I mean, Connor Burns is probably gonna get shut down soon because I mean he's got to be getting close to his innings limit. He struggled last outing, so yeah, man, I'm disappointed. but again, I'm used to this. I'm used to this as a Reds fan. It's just it feels like it's every year we're so close, and we could have added those pieces. Kyle Schwarber was willing to come to Cincinnati. You didn't pull the trigger because you didn't want to put in the extra money, right? But yet you'll pay some of these guys 15 million for a year. So that's where I'm at. I don't know, but I know you're not too much more happy because they went out and bought, and the Guardians are in the tanker.
Yeah, I even said last week that like as much as this was active, the most active Cleveland's been at a deadline, really since the Francisco Lindor era in Cleveland. I really didn't think it was enough to really turn around the offensive woes. Like, yeah, you had Joe Adell, who's got a 900
He's
OPS
a
against
homer or
left-handed
strikeout
hitters.
though.
Nathaniel Lowe from the Reds was one of the few guys they did trade away. Another guy that they were looking to platoon. I was hoping that he'd be more of a full-time first baseman. And then they go and got Foster Griffin from the Nationals, so that they don't have to have Slade Ciccone in the starting rotation anymore. And it was looking like, okay, I think that this is going to be enough to at least get us second in the division. We'll see how the wild card standings shake up. Still like Chicago's bats overall in the division, but ever since Ben, they start off with us getting swept by the Mets, who sold almost everything. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They now sit fourth in the division at 58 and 62. Dropped a few to the White Sox recently, and we lost the
Hey, same
first
record
in
as the Reds.
pretty close. 58-62. I think you guys are 57-61.
Something like that.
Uh, yeah, so got some division games that they really shouldn't be losing that they're losing. Now the Tigers are in second place after selling Skubal and Mize, and the Twins jumped us, and now we're in fourth. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man! Like it's feeling like a chore to watch this team, man. I don't know what to say other than like offense is it's the same old thing. Like Stephen Vogt seems to have no feel in the game, like no like for a team that would be small market, prides itself on developing prospects and using the data, playing guard ball, quote unquote, and how that we're going to win games that way. They really seem to ignore a lot of glaring data, letting guys that shouldn't be playing play, ignoring situational stats that guys aren't good at. It's like Reese Hoskins is supposed to be your platoon option against lefties, and he's got like a 80 WRC plus against lefties. He's got a 600 some OPS against lefties, and it's like you might as well just play low every single game because if this is
Lowe
the guy that's
sucks against
supposed to be,
lefties though. He's so bad.
hear me out though. I mean, if you're gonna play Hoskins because you like the right on left, he's not really much better either. So why don't you
True.
just play the better overall player, which would be Low? That's the kind of stuff
And
that I'm
also,
just
you're
starting to
paying Lowe like $200,000 because he only signed a 1 year deal with
yeah,
veterans
he's a
minimum.
free agent after this season. So yeah, I didn't think that we bought enough, and I mean, surely I thought the offense would be playing better than this. As a Reds fan, I get it. The GM
He's
was,
an idiot. He's such an idiot.
yeah, didn't sell a lot because they thought they were still in it.
But they
You hear
weren't.
that?
They weren't.
Well, then you compare that to a team like the Diamondbacks that actually do have a chance to get to wild card, and they only added Lars Nootbaar, and you heard their GM say, "Yeah, I think we got our butt handed to us at the deadline. We should have done more. I wish I could have done more." And sounded like more so that they
He
just
took
missed
ownership
out
of
on a
it
few guys. Yeah, so they tried, and then the Reds, it seems like they thought that they did the right thing, but yeah,
because all
uh,
those guys are going to walk now. So then you get nothing for him.
yeah, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Brady Singer should be pitching for a contender right now, like the
Tyler
Braves
Stevenson
or
should be
something
catching for
like
the
that.
Yankees right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, dude, and
Man,
the problem is
so
that their MLB prospects are like in the bottom tier of the MLB. Like
yeah,
you
there's
don't
not a
have
whole
anybody
lot coming
left.
up. There's not a whole lot to be excited about coming up right now.
So it's like,
Like
dude,
Sal
why
Stewart
not
was like that
replenish it?
last one.
Ridiculous. And then you bring up Hector Rodriguez, your number two prospect. He's hitting 118 in his first 12 at bats or first 20 at bats. Like what's happening, man? Ridiculous.
What is happening, at least in the American League, is we could get, I
We
think we
could
were
for the first
talking,
time
did you
ever.
say it's the first time we could
Yeah,
get
it's
a
be the
team with a
first time
losing
ever.
record?
Ever.
Let me list this out for everyone. So we know that Tampa Bay, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, with the heater that they've been on lately, are all probably going to get in the playoffs. They're all in the same division, of course. So whoever wins the division, then the other two will be the wild card. So that leaves you two other division winners. Houston, remember Houston, Ben, the team that could score a lot but couldn't,
They're
that
figuring it
allowed
out.
all the runs too.
They're
They're in
figuring it
first
out.
place now, 61 and 60.
With the MVP, by the way. It's not even close.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, uh, Then you got the AL Central division winner White Sox at 61-57, like I said. But then one of these other teams has to be a wild card. You got to get a third wild card.
So
And
it'd be so bad, dude.
right now we're looking at Texas at 60 and 60. We're looking at Detroit at 59 and 60, the Twins at 60 and 62, the Blue Jays at 58 and 63, and the Seattle Mariners at 56 and 64.
It's just gross, man. Like the fact that there's
Gross
gonna
in the
be a
American
team.
League, and some people might be asking like, how can like you have so many losing teams at the top here? I think the way that something like this happens, Ben, we've kind of gotten rid of the exclusivity of interleague play.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. I don't have these numbers in front of me, but when everybody plays everybody, it allows for at least one of the leagues this year, the American League, to have a lot of bad teams in it.
Yeah.
If American League teams were only playing American League teams, surely there'd be more teams at the top and bottom. Like everybody plays each other. And I don't know, the National League just shook up to have more teams this year. Like, let me go ahead and tell everyone record-wise over here. In the NL East, you got the Braves at 72 and 48, Phillies at 64-57, Marlins at 61 and 59. Central, you got the Brewers at 74 and 46, Cubs at 70 and 56. St. Louis is 60 and 60. That's your third place team right there. Then you go to the NL West and you got the Dodgers at 72 and 48, Diamondbacks at 64 and 57, and the Padres, who've also been on a heater lately, at 64 and 57. So you got nine teams right there that I just named that are all 500 or higher. And over in the American League, you have one, two, three, four, five, six teams that are
It's
500 or
wild.
higher. Yeah. Something to keep an eye on. It's going to be interesting how that shakes up if we are going to have a team under 500 or if one of these teams is just finally going to be like, you know what? We got to like, just put it all together finally.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people have been waiting on Seattle to do that. At this point, I don't think Seattle's going to do it. I think they would
No.
have done it by now. Um, I mean, Detroit has gone on a heater before at the end of the season and kind of snuck in. Uh, the Twins have been hitting all year, but they haven't been able to pitch. The Blue Jays have been nicked with a bunch of injuries, but then they've also had guys like Vlad Guerrero Jr. not be able to like figure it out this season for whatever reason. Rangers, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's American League. We got some football stuff to talk about today too,
Absolutely.
professionally. We did finish all the college conferences last time, so we got
Hmm.
some divisions in the NFL that we're going to go ahead and go through. We got the NFC North to wrap up the NFC, and then we're going to move over to the AFC with the South Division. We'll go ahead and go with the NFC North first. That, of course, is the Packers, Vikings, Bears, and Lions, for anyone curious. We'll go ahead and discuss all these teams, how we think they're going to shake out, Ben. But I guess we'll go ahead and start off with our prediction on who's going to win the division. Who do you like out of here?
I still like Chicago. I think Caleb Williams, I think he's going to make another step. I think step forward. He does have the Madden curse this year, so if you believe in that, could happen. No, but I like their additions. Dylan Thieneman, I thought was a freaking steal at 25. I don't know how that guy lasted that long. They got Logan Jones as well. I thought was another great addition from the draft. Um, but generally, I just think that this team, I think defensively and offensively, I think are going to be the most consistent throughout the year. Obviously, in Minnesota, you're going to have a new quarterback situation. I do think Detroit's going to be back in it. I've kind of always said I think Chicago finishes like 11-6, maybe 12-5, but then I think you're going to Detroit right behind there at 11-6, somewhere around there, maybe 10-7. I just think that's who I got. I think that's where I think I have Chicago, and then Detroit. I think they're going to have a bounce back year. I think Jameer Gibbs is the best running back in football right now. I think just because what he can do throughout the whole game. And then I think Green Bay finishes third. I think they're going to finish at that 9-8 kind of spot or so, 8-9. And then I do think Minnesota, they did name Kyler Murray, which does that help them? I don't know. I just still feel like this team defensively is going to be a little bit less. I think they're going to finish about 8-9, maybe 7-10. So I kind of have the Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota.
All right. Yeah, this is we're kind of on the same page. We might differ on record though. I really wanted to say that I thought Detroit would win this division. I thought they would last year, but then we found out possibly what big of a loss Ben Johnson actually was going to
Hmm.
be for that offense. Even though all the same players were there, uh, for whatever reason, schematically, offensive line ended up being an issue. They just couldn't put it together, and it ended up flopping. And Ben Johnson ends up over on Chicago. He's got all these new toys to play with, like Caleb Williams and Colston Loveland and Roma Dunze. And I seen that Luther Burden had an injury that he's going to be missing some time for. So that is one short that they're going to have. But DeAndre Swift in the backfield, like you do wonder, like man, what could year two of the Ben Johnson system look like? I know they did pretty well for the first year and they got a lot of weapons over there. The other thing that Detroit's got working against them this year is no more David Montgomery. So it is
Yeah.
literally only the Jahmyr Gibbs show. On the defensive side, you also don't have Terrion Arnold anymore with everything going on off the field there. You got to wonder what the secondary will look like without him. Plus, can Brian Branch stay healthy? I know he's been missing some games the last couple seasons.
Hmm.
The offensive line got like a whole new look to it too. They're flipping Panay Sewell to the left side. They drafted Blake Miller to play the right. You do have Tate Ratledge in there also, so we'll see how much more protection that gives Goff and how much Jahmyr Gibbs, I guess, adjusts to handling the workload of a full-time back since he's going to be getting the most of the carries. And he did get most of the carries last year too. That did tilt his way, but I'm assuming that since Montgomery's out, he is going to be getting more
Yeah.
so added to his plate. So that's how I see it. I see them two being at the top, and I do like Chicago to go ahead and win that division. I was just going to go ahead and go through some of the bigger matchups Chicago's got with them. So they got a matchup at the Bills in December. I think that's interesting just because you know how the winters can be in Buffalo over there, but Chicago's also, you know, in the Windy City and they also are in an outdoor stadium, so they'll be built for that, but we'll see how
I'm sorry,
that
there's still
goes.
outdoor stadiums in the NFL. I thought we were supposed to all go to domes. I thought that's what we're
Everybody's
supposed to
supposed to
do,
have
man.
domes that all look the same
I
and
thought
got
that's what we're
no
supposed to
character
do.
to them. Yeah. They do have a home game also against the Jags who'll be coming up from Florida in
You
December.
know, I've decided, Josh, and I thought I would bring this up. If we know we've hit rock bottom as the world, if Green Bay goes with a dome, like if that happens,
If we have, yeah, if
if we
Lambeau
get an
Field goes
indoor
away and you have a dome,
Lambeau, I feel like we've hit the rock bottom in the world.
yeah. I mean, we are losing Soldier Field in Chicago. I think they're still going to be called the Chicago Bears, but their new
It's
stadium
in
that they'll build
Indiana.
is going to be in Indiana. Yeah,
We're gonna be called the Indiana Bears. Like,
I
ugh,
hate it. I think they're going to keep the Chicago name. They're just not going to play in Chicago. Kind of like how the New York Giants and Jets are in the
true.
Meadowlands in New Jersey, something
I
like
mean,
that.
Cleveland's gonna be the Akron Browns, I think now. Whatever their stadium's gonna be at, the Akron Browns. Is that what they're gonna be now?
I don't know.
The
Isn't it
Berea
going to be
Browns.
like I forget what the park, Brook Park? I
Yeah,
think it's
Brook Park Browns.
So you do have those matchups in December. I think are interesting. They got a Thursday night matchup where they'll host the Patriots. That should be a fun game too. And they get to host the Eagles, so a lot of their hard games are on their home field. So they do have that going for them. Over on the Detroit schedule side, some things to note over here. Besides like the division games that these two teams play, they also are hosting the Patriots for a Sunday night game. They will be at the Bills.
Ooh, the
Um,
Falcons come there late in the season. They're gonna love that cold weather. I mean, yes, Detroit is a dome though, so I
Detroit
forgot.
is a dome, yeah, so it doesn't really affect them all that much. But the end of the year, they got at the Vikings, they host the Giants, they're at the Bears, they're at the Packers. So it's going to be some important division games there potentially. Where I defer with you, I think now is I'm going to go with Minnesota at third, which would
Really?
put Green Bay at
Okay.
fourth. I I
You
looked through
trust
Green Bay,
Kyler?
Ben. It's a little bit trusting of Kyler. I mean, when you think about how Minnesota finished last year and they were able to win JJ McCarthy starts, like
Yeah.
that tells me they got
Can we also talk
a
about how
lot
bad
around him.
JG McCarthy is? Like there is no way that man he's never been good. Like if you look at his whole career, he had a really good run game at Michigan, but like he's never had to be like on his shoulders until he got to Minnesota, and he
Yeah.
struggled.
Yeah, it was definitely I didn't think he did a whole lot in college to really indicate that he should have been a
No.
top 10 pick and we were going to find out and I mean after 1 year already they're like, yeah, we got to go and get Kyler and we got to start him. Like that just got announced that Kyler is going to be the starting quarterback. Um,
A guy who doesn't
Mason and
study film, by the way.
yeah, I guess not as much as he should. Mason and Jones will be out of the backfield for them again. You got Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson. You add Jawan Jennings over
Caleb
there.
Banks
Caleb Banks on for the draft.
is a
Yep. So
massive human.
there's some things that I like about the Vikings. There's some things about the Packers I think could work out, but I do have questions. So what's Josh Jacobs' status going to look like?
Yeah,
There hasn't been any punishment given yet. What's the receiving room going to look like? Because Dobes left in free agency. Um, you did extend Watkins. Is Matthew Golden going to take that next step forward? Micah Parsons is going to be starting the season out on the pup
drafted a
list.
kicker. Always key.
Drafted a kicker. Well, I was going to say on the defensive side, they won't have Parsons to start. They also traded Rashawn Gary, so there's really big questions about who's going to be rushing the passer over there
True. I
for
didn't think about
myself.
that. Yeah.
Now, Green Bay has just been one of those franchises, Ben, that's just seemed to weather a lot of storms, and it doesn't really matter who's playing where. They always seem to be right around that 500 record. You got LaFleur, the offensive genius, working for you over there. But um, yeah, I just have questions that aren't necessarily indictments, but I think out of all those teams I mentioned too, they got the hardest schedule too, which is
Hmm.
going to work against them. Let me go ahead and read some of these off to you. They're going to be at the Bucks. They're going to be hosting the
At
Cowboys.
at Rams. That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, that's another one. They got to play at New England too, and like you said, they're at the Rams. They
They
do have
finish
to
they
host the
finish
Bills.
at Chicago, Houston, Detroit. That's their last three games.
Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah, we're gonna get to talk about Houston later and what they could be like. But yeah, I think that out of all those teams that we just discussed, that they also have the hardest schedule working against them. So it would be definitely unprecedented seeing Green Bay finish last in this division. But right now, I just have a lot of questions, and
Little
I mean,
answers.
like, yeah, I got to see some answers. Like, you could have some blind faith, and I mean, you're not particularly high either, going 9-8 with
No.
them. But I mean, over here, I'm just kind of like I'm gonna have to see some
And
stuff.
Jordan Love is streaky.
Well,
Sometimes
Jordan
he's
Love missed some
on.
games last year too, and
Yeah.
Malik Willis was there to save them
They
in
don't have
that
that this
time. But
year.
Malik Willis isn't over there anymore. He's in Miami. Let me go ahead and tell you, at least right now, who the quarterback situation is over there. So Tyrod Taylor, who's been a decent backup, Kyle McCord, Kyron Drones is your quarterback room in Green Bay right now.
Kyle McCord. I forgot
Kyle
about old
McCord.
Kyle McCord. I forgot
So
about the old guy.
yeah, you got to prove him back up with Tyrod at over there. I don't think that he's going to be the producer that Malik was for
I
them
mean, you're paying Jordan
this
Love
stage of his
51 million
career.
this year, by the way.
You are, so Jordan Love has to play a
So
lot.
much money. It's so much money.
Jordan Love last year, 3,300 yards, 23
And
touchdowns, six
did
picks.
you realize they're paying Jaden Reed 21 million? That is stupid amount of money for him. I'm sorry, Jaden Reed. I'm
Yeah,
sure you're an amazing player, but that's just a
another
lot of
guy that they
money.
extended. I think they extended him and Watson, so they're making about that much. I think both of them. So we'll see in Green Bay, but that's kind of how I see that division shaken up. AFC South, I think there could be a lot of discrepancy in our picks, but I'll go ahead and start off with who I think is going to win the division this year.
I think we're both going to agree on this part. This part I think we both agree on. I think personally.
Well, last year in Liam Cohen's first year, the Jags went 13-4. I think that shocked both of us. I mean, with the way that Trevor Lawrence had been playing and with the way that the team had been playing, and we really were high on Houston, and
Yeah.
Houston kind of had a really rough ending to their season. But I am gonna go and stick with Houston winning this division. Now here's where the pushback could come from. What version of CJ Stroud are we going to see, Ben? Because we saw this guy come in, rookie sensation, lead the team to the playoffs, and then year two it was a little underwhelming, and then last year, more underwhelming also, especially at the end with all the interceptions that he was throwing. And
And I
I
believe
mean,
they didn't
really,
pick up his fifth year option, did they? I don't think they picked up his option either.
I
I can't remember.
Bryce Young didn't get his with Carolina, I think. Let me see if we got some CJ Stroud contract that I can find right here.
I guess and it might take it. I also, by the way, have Houston winning this division. I think they go like 13-4, 12 and
Okay,
5.
Houston exercised his fifth year
Okay.
option,
Here's where I'm at
but he
with the
hasn't been like extended yet. So he's
yeah.
still on the original 4 year, 36 million. And they decided to go with the fifth year
And
team option there.
I guess with them, this is where I'm at. I think we see a better version of CJ Stroud. I've heard a lot of people say this, and I agree with a lot of people. This is a make or break year for CJ Stroud because I think if you have a year, let's say you have a year where you throw for 4,000 yards, let's say 35 touchdowns, and you lead your team to at least a playoff win or at least to the playoffs, I think look, they can mark you down, all right, as their guy. If you struggle this year, you're in the line with the JT Barretts of the world, the other high state quarterbacks that get through that first contract and then just struggle. Um, but for me, I just think C.J. Stroud is just such a freak of a way of the way he throws the ball. He's like a poor man's Patrick Mahomes in some sense. So I do think Houston wins this division. I think their defense is phenomenal. I
It's
think they have one of the.
so
I think
good.
they have one of the more underrated defenses, or really because people don't talk about them. But I think they have one of the best defenses. D'Amico Ryans, I think, is one of the best coaches in the NFL. I love him. I love his heart for Christ, and I just love the way he talks about family. So for me, yeah, I'm gonna say Houston won for sure.
It's such a good defense. And like I said, we saw CJ's rookie season, but we've seen 2 years of underwhelming CJ. And last year it was 3,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks. It's like
Yeah,
Athletic. I don't know if you saw their quarterback ranking. They put him, I think, 20th out
yeah.
of 35 guys that they decided to rank. And I'm like, this is really the make or break year. I think we got to see who the real CJ Stroud is. But he's got some things going for him this year too. They did some work to that offensive line.
Which he needed
That
help, by
was
the way.
so bad. It did need help. They made some trades. They made some nice signs. They got Wyatt Teller over there now.
They got
They got
Rutledge too from
they
Georgia
got
Tech.
Rutledge over there. David Montgomery is going to be running in the backfield. They also are going to get Tank Dell back, another weapon that was really nice that 2020
Three,
three rookie
yeah.
season. So there's more coming to Houston that I think is going to work out for them, and I think that the Jags aren't necessarily going
Katie
anywhere,
McDonald,
but
by the way, I forgot about Katie McDonald.
Kane
They added.
McDonald, yeah, it's another addition to the defense. Yeah, another Buckeye. So I do like Houston. I don't think the Jags are going anywhere. I think they're going to be in second,
I agree. I
contending
agree.
for the division. We'll see how, like what we were just saying with year two and Ben Johnson's system with Caleb Williams, how year two for Trevor Lawrence looks with Liam Cohen's
Their
offense.
draft picks are pretty
Because,
bad, though. By the way, they probably the one of the worst drafts.
yeah, you're talking about the Jags.
Yeah, just one of the worst drafts I've seen in a long time.
This is what the Jags have got going for them right now. We're going to have a new running back situation, no ETN over there. We're going to see if Brian Thomas Jr. can bounce back. We're going to see, uh, um, what was it? Yeah, Trevor Lawrence in year two with this. So I think that the Jags are going to continue to do well. I really think Houston's going to get a better version of CJ this year, and that's going to push him over the top. Um, Third place, I got the Colts. I think that, well,
I
last year
agree.
they were like that surprise team initially with Daniel Jones
Hmm.
right off the rip. And right now we're got Daniel coming back from a leg injury. We'll see how he can push off of that, if that affects his mobility at all. No more Michael Pittman at receiver. Uh, Anthony Richardson, I think that trade request is still in. We also got to see a healthier defense because Javarius Ward, Sauce Gardner, and DeForest Buckner were kind of all up and down last year. So
Here's a hot take I have.
go for it.
Do you think Richardson? Do you think that they do a Trail Pryor situation where they move him to receiver because of just his freak athleticism? Do you
I
think that they would do that, or they would maybe a few plays to see how it goes, and then next offseason turn him into a receiver? Because I think he could be a better receiver than he could be a quarterback in the NFL,
I don't
personally.
think he'll do that, and I think that's why he requested a trade because he's adamant on being a quarterback. If he was willing to try to make things work in the Colts and he wanted to be in that organization, I think he would have maybe not come up with that idea on his own, but I think the reason that he would have requested a trade is because he thinks he can play quarterback somewhere, and if it's not with the Colts, he wants to be throwing the football for somebody. He's not requesting a trade because he thinks he can go play receiver for someone. I think
Yeah,
if he was open to that, that he'd be doing that with the Colts right now. But the fact that he's, for some reason thinks he's got to throw the football. I mean, every now and then you see the arm talent, but
it's like
it's
DJ. It's
not
like DJ
consistent.
Lagway, man. Got a
Yeah, it's
can of
not
an arm, but can't
consistent.
do anything.
It's not consistent. Yeah. So Alec Pierce, we also got to see him be healthy. Him, Tyler Warren, Jonathan Taylor are, a nice collection of weapons to work with over there. But I do have questions about quarterback. I do have questions about health on defense. And then we got the Titans in last
Yeah.
right now,
I'll
just
put them
because
there
there's,
as well. Yeah.
I think there could be some exciting things to watch. I mean, you got Cam Ward in year two. You got Robert
Carnell
Salah,
Tate.
who hired Brian Daboll, who's worked really well with young quarterbacks. We've seen Daboll help develop guys like Daniel Jones, actually. We've seen him develop Josh Allen in his younger stages, and now he's got Cam Ward to work with. I think that could work out really well. I mean, if all things do go like I think there's a reality where Tennessee is finishing second or third in this division. I'm not going to say that they could win it, but I think if enough things go right, that they could be up there. Uh, Weapons wise, I mean, they drafted Carnell Tate. I think that's going to be fun to
Yeah.
watch. Him with they also signed Wandale Robinson.
They also
We'll
got
see how
Nicholas
that works
Singleton as
out.
well. Drafted Nicholas
Drafted Nick
Singleton as well.
Singleton to go with who's it? Tony Pollard at running
Yeah.
back. Calvin Ridley's still over there, who's been kind of falling off lately. I don't know really what version of him you're gonna get. But I think there's some exciting things to watch with the Titans right now. Kind of like how in Cleveland there's some exciting players to watch for the development of, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm watching for with the Titans. I think they're doing the right things right now, and I think it's just going to take a little development to get them to where they need to be. But I think they're doing all things right. I just like I said, there's the Jags and Texans. It's going to be hard to finish ahead of them right now with the
Yeah.
situation
I
that they
agree.
got in Tennessee. But that's kind of how I see that division shaping up.
No, I agree. I'm with you. I think that Tennessee has a lot to prove. I think Carnell Tate has been a lot of talk about Carnell Tate, but I've seen the clips I've seen so far is he looks phenomenal. So, yeah, I think the Titans are on the right path. They just got to start figuring it out and don't need to rush it. Take your time. I feel that's what the Browns have done a lot is they rush it. They have one decent season and they put everything in and then it's just bad. So, take your time and you'll be fine.
All right. Anything else that we got on the show today?
No,
We're
I
about an
don't.
hour in.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think just the main thing is that football season's right around the corner, man, Josh. And I'm as someone who obviously coaches over here, and it's one of my favorite times of the year, man, to be able to watch some college football, um, and to watch the NFL. I mean, I don't watch the NFL as much. More of a college football guy right now, but like preseason games, I'll watch the highlights. The Browns' first preseason game, I think, happens on Friday, Saturday. I think it's Saturday, the 15th. Yeah, I think it's Saturday. So
Yep.
yeah, I'll be checking
Saturday at
that
one,
out, seeing
playing the
that. Which
Bears.
you know what? To be honest, it's what I always love about the preseason, man. Is you get to see these dudes from like Epicata University of St. Ed's. Like you get to see these dudes from like the middle of nowhere, Division 3 school that are signing on a team and trying to make the team. Like I loved watching preseason because it gives those guys a chance to prove themselves and as someone in Europe, I've seen European guys come from here in Europe and they go over to America. They try at the preseason and everything. So
Who do you
exciting
think's going to
times.
get on the field at quarterback for Cleveland?
My gut right now, unfortunately, says Deshaun. I don't think I
Like,
don't
are we
I
going to
don't
see Deshaun get an opening drive, Shador get the second drive, and then the rest of it's going to be Dylan Gabriel and Taylor Green?
No,
Or
I think Taylor Green sees very little this game. I think this first game you're going to see basically. I could say half and half for Watson and Shador, but I do think you'll see Watson for at least a quarter, Shador for two, and then maybe Dylan to finish it out. I don't think Taylor Green sees much action. I personally think you need to put Taylor Green at wide receiver. That dude runs like a 4.4. He's six
he
foot
moves
six, two
very
hundred
well. Like,
forty 40
definitely an
pounds.
athlete. Definitely an
Like I
athlete.
do think you're going to see him in wildcat packages this year for sure, and just have him run the ball. But yeah, we'll see what happens for sure.
All right.
All right. Well, um, this is what I'm going to let you comment down below today. We're going to comment this. If you were the Reds and the Guardians, how would you change their mindset going forward from 2027 beyond? How should they change the way they operate? And no, you cannot say spend more money. We know this. Josh and I both know this. But how do you
We know
mentally
that's the
change?
answer, and they're not spending all
Yes.
the money that they have to
No.
spend, and
So
they won't
what can
do
they
it.
do mentally to change? And let us know that down in the comments. But if you enjoyed watching and listening on YouTube, uh, click that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you love listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all those fun places, then make sure you share it with your friends and family. Enjoy this weekend, as it is August, by the way. this is wild to me again. It's I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So enjoy that. If you're getting ready to start school, enjoy the
Getting
last few
started
moments of
weekend at
your.
Cedarville
I
University
know. Fun
Friday.
fact before we go, Cedarville just bought more acreage. You know, like past the baseball field, like as you're driving up from Springfield, there's like a cornfields and stuff. They bought a bunch of those cornfields. So who knows what Cedarville is going to do?
Hmm.
I know when I went back there last year, I got lost because I had no idea where I was going.
I was gonna say so much has changed in the
It's
10-ish years
ridiculous.
since I've graduated. I don't know if I could get around.
I know my let's see, my in 2029 will be my 10-year anniversary for graduating, 10th class reunion. So I don't know if I'm going to go to it, but we'll see. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have fun with your friends and family, and as always, we'll see ya.